Recent leaked documents reveal a disturbing truth. Russia is rapidly mass-producing a new missile that could change the balance of power in Europe forever. This missile, called the ISKANDR-1000, isn't just a theory anymore. It's real, it's building up speed, and it might already be ready to strike. The question is, how close are they to deploying this weapon that can threaten entire cities? The leak shows that Russia is purchasing enormous quantities of components from Western suppliers. These parts are dedicated solely to making the ISKANDR-1000. What's more alarming, the documents specify the guidance system, the core technology that makes this missile so precise. It can hit targets within just 5 meters, or roughly 16 feet. Can you imagine the destruction if this precision is used against major European capitals? The tension rises as we realize this is not just another missile. This is an upgraded version, far more dangerous than anything before. The first rumors of Russia's plans emerged back in January 2025. An Indian security outlet revealed that the ISKANDR-1000 could reach up to 1,300 kilometers, about 807 miles, twice the range of the previous models. This long-distance capability means Europe's key cities are now within striking distance, especially if these missiles are stationed in the strategic enclave of Kaliningrad. It could mean disaster for countries like Poland, Germany, and the Baltic nations. But what's even scarier? These missiles are nearly indistinguishable from older models, making early detection nearly impossible. How can NATO defend itself when the enemy's most advanced weapon remains hidden until it's too late? The leaked intelligence confirms that the missile is already in mass production, with Russian sources openly discussing the upgrades. The new missile can reach speeds up to Mach 9, around 3,100 meters per second, making it a true hypersonic threat. No existing NATO defense system can reliably intercept such a speed. Its warhead capacity varies, possibly up to 700 kilograms, or 1,543 pounds, enough to inflict catastrophic damage. With such power, the ISKANDR-1000 could tilt the very fabric of military balance in Europe. But here's the twist, many vital components aren't produced inside Russia. They come from Western countries. Despite sanctions, Western firms are still supplying crucial parts. The question remains, couldn't this be the failure of the sanctions policy? How could Russia so easily circumvent restrictions? The answer lies in the shadows. Western industries continue to inadvertently fuel Russia's military ambitions. This revelation raises alarming questions about oversight and the effectiveness of current measures. One thing is clear, the stakes have never been higher. Russia's ambitions are clear, and the potential threat is looming. If these missiles are deployed in Kaliningrad, they could target every major city in Central and Eastern Europe. NATO's response time? Slipping. Its defenses? Struggling. All while Russia's military project accelerates with relentless precision. The future of peace in Europe hangs in the balance. Will NATO recognize the danger in time? Or will the silent threat of the ISKANDR-1000 bring catastrophe before anyone can react? Imagine the shock rippling through NATO command centers, where doubts linger about an obscure Russian enclave thrusting Europe into peril. In our last dive, we uncovered the Kremlin's audacious upgrade, pushing the Iskander-M's range far beyond terror, fueled by a beefy 15% hike in fuel and a roaring new engine. Leaked whispers even hint at its deceptive guidance system, letting Russia spy on defenders by baiting them with older launches. Now, brace for this bombshell. Did you know Russia's revamped ISKANDR-1000 can pinpoint targets with laser-like precision, slicing through defenses like a knife through butter at speeds defying the speed of sound? The guidance system spotlighted in those volatile leaks promised pinpoint fury in those early projections. It hones each strike to within 5 meters, roughly 16 feet, of obliteration. Picture the eerie hum of missiles serrated air, leaving scorched earth and shattered dreams in its wake. When warheads hit the stage, Raksha Aniveda spills Russia's dark secrets. This beast carries cluster munitions or high-explosive fragmentation payloads, tipping scales at up to 350 kilograms, about 771 pounds of devastation. Yet shadows loom larger, with rival reports whispering far heftier horrors, estimates soaring past 700 kilograms, around 1,543 pounds, ready to pulverize stone and steel alike. Velocity turns this into a phantom nightmare. It screams at 3,100 meters per second, smashing Mach 9 barriers. Hypersonic fury. NATO scrambles vainly to intercept. Feel the ground tremble, the acrid stench of propellant searing nostrils. Flash forward to December. United 24 media adds scant scraps to the inferno. The classic Iskander blazes at up to 2,600 meters per second, Mach 7.5, hinting at a fiery baseline for the new terror. But here's the knot-twisting twist, distinguishing this upgraded fiend from its forebears? Near impossible. Worry gnaws deep in NATO's ranks. Surveillance falters against these chameleons, as open Russian murmurs confirm. Why fret? Picture it, fail to spot the model mid-launch, and defenses lag fatally. By the readiness hour, if defenses even muster, the beast could unleash havoc. Russian sources hammer home the agony, broadsides demand response to every Iskander volley across sprawling rears. It drains coffers, squanders might, yet exposes NATO's hidden shields against the pinnacle predator. Russia's ploy gleams simple, sinister. Launch a decoy older cousin. Watch defenses ignite. Then strike vulnerabilities head-on, or skirt them like a ghost. The air thickens with impending betrayal, alliances teetering on razor's edge. Will Kaliningrad ignite Europe's darkest hour? Stay tuned, as we peel back the sting. In this gripping tale of escalating tensions, we uncovered how Vladimir Putin's bold move in Kaliningrad threatens Europe's heart. We've seen leaked documents prove Russia is churning out advanced ISKANDR-1000 missiles at a staggering pace. These projectiles, with a devastating 1,000-kilometer reach, could transform the exclave into a nightmare hub, striking deep into NATO lands. But imagine the outrage when sanctions crumble under the weight of foreign parts fueling this deadly arsenal. Picture the chill of a Baltic winter in 2024, where the scent of diesel from military convoys lingered like a bitter fog in Minsk's forgotten alleys. The rumble of factory wheels grinding against steel, vibrations pulsing through your bones as blueprints whispered secrets of hypersonic terror. Back then, whispers of Russia's upgrade hit the airwaves, but who could have dreamed it would become this brutal reality? Shockingly, could Putin's Kaliningrad gambit turn Europe's defenders into sitting ducks, humiliated by missiles built from their own backyard components? Extending the shadow from our last eerie reveal, if these ISKANDR-1000 weapons nestling in Kaliningrad espies suspect, all of Poland trembles in immediate peril. The upgraded payloads could shatter most of Germany's defenses. Southern Norway and Sweden feel the looming doom as well. Denmark's vital shipping straits pulse with dread, and the nation's capital, Copenhagen, stands exposed. The threat multiplies, these ballistic beasts, perched in the exclave, cripple Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia under their extended grasp. Slovakia, the Czech Republic, swaths of the Netherlands, even Moldova and Romania quiver at the edge. Whispers from the past echo, Poland and the Baltic trio already dodged the older IS-Iskander's wrath. But now, with this enhanced version surging into full production, Kaliningrad morphs into the epicenter of a Russian hailstorm against Central and Eastern Europe's core. It's the very flank NATO banks on to stem Europe's invasion tide. Ukraine, scarred by prior hits, braces as a prime bullseye. Dread mounts for NATO allies over the looming havoc from this Kaliningrad missile nightmare. Yet fury boils over the fine print we touched on before. Leaked files bear Russia's heavy lean on Western-bought parts for these weapons, snagged with eerie ease. The million-dollar question hangs thick: didn't sanctions vow to snuff out such horrors? They did, yet the scourge of foreign pieces arming Russian doom isn't novel. Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, spotlighted it starkly in October. His site detailed a savage October 5th assault. Russia unleashed 549 missiles and drones. Brutal, yet sadly routine in 2024's intensified blitzes. The jaw-dropper? These war machines brimmed with over 100,000 foreign components, unveiling how sanctions' grip has slipped, leaving poorer defenses to shield Europe from the gathering storm. Some bits hail from nations like China, predictable foes. But many flow from sanctioned realms, proving the leaky sieve lets Russia's arsenal swell unchecked. Then, bound on his presidential command post, sketching maps under flickering fluorescent lights, Zelensky smelled the acrid burn of missile exhaust from distant blasts that rattled windows like thunderclaps. Touching the frayed edges of intel photos, he felt the grit of urgency. Why, in a world of pacts and promises, do these components slip through like ghosts? What if the next leaked page exposes how these missiles could cripple NATO's air shields forever, turning allies' strategies into ashes? A shocking discovery has just surfaced. Russia is secretly building a new missile that could change the face of European security forever. Imagine powerful ballistic missiles with a range that can strike nearly 800 miles away, hidden in a region critical to NATO's defenses. The implications are terrifying, and the truth behind this weapon's development might leave the world in shock. Recently leaked documents reveal a terrifying truth: Moscow is rapidly producing upgraded ballistic missiles, dubbed the ISKANDR-1000. These weapons, with a striking range of 621 miles, and possibly even more, are being worked on in secret, right inside the heart of Europe's strategic border. Imagine the dark, cold hallways of Russian military factories, where new engines hum louder than before, and guidance systems are meticulously assembled with military precision. The air tastes heavily of metal, oil, and anticipation as these missile parts are rushed through assembly lines. Could this be the beginning of an unstoppable threat? The leaked material exposes that the upgraded missile, known internally as 9M7232, has left its experimental phase and entered mass production. Evidence shows Russia is purchasing vast quantities of specialized components, many obtained from Western nations, despite strict sanctions. These parts, built in countries like the United States, Germany, and South Korea, are being supplied with little resistance. Can sanctions really contain Russia's war machine when such critical pieces are slipping through the cracks? Maybe the sanctions are just paper, fragile and ineffective against a determined adversary. But why does this matter so much? The original Iskander missiles already posed a significant threat to Europe, but the new Iskander-1000 takes that danger to a terrifying new level. Reports from early 2025 hinted at Russia's ambitions, suggesting this upgraded missile might even reach 807 miles, double the reach of its predecessors. A more powerful engine, increased fuel capacity, and cutting-edge guidance systems, these are not just upgrades. They are game-changers. Imagine hearing the roar of engines, feeling the ground tremble beneath your feet as these hypersonic projectiles zip through the atmosphere at Mach 9, tearing through the air with thunderous fury. The new missile's speed, up to 3,100 meters per second, makes it nearly impossible for NATO to defend against. Its stealthy design makes it indistinguishable from older models, leaving defense systems blindsided. The moment it launches, NATO might only realize too late. By the time sirens sound or radar detects the missile, it could already be crashing down on a major city. The threat becomes even more alarming when considering the potential targets. Analysts warn that if deployed in Kaliningrad, this missile could threaten all of northern and central Europe, Oslo, Hamburg, Stockholm, and beyond. The entire Baltic region, including Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and even parts of Poland, would be within striking distance. The question isn't just about missiles anymore, it's about whether NATO's defenses can adapt swiftly enough to this invisible menace. The whispers of deployment suggest a design for maximum impact, aimed at crippling NATO's early warning systems, disrupting troop movements, and turning the tide of any future conflict. Russian insiders have long speculated that Kaliningrad could become the missile's primary base, pushing a devastating threat directly into Europe's vulnerable borderlands. Picture the cold, gray skies over the Baltic, where these deadly weapons could be stored, ready to unleash chaos at a moment's notice. Will NATO respond fast enough? Or will the new Iskander-1000 strike first, changing the battlefield forever? Adding another layer of menace, leaked intelligence reveals a disturbing loophole. Many of these vital components originate not only from sanctioned countries but also from firms that should have been cut off. Despite global efforts, Western companies continue to sell weapons-grade parts, deliberately or not, fueling Russia's military machine. How can sanctions work when banned parts are flowing through clandestine channels? The air smells of frustration, the sense of an impending storm growing stronger as the world witnesses how easily these dangerous materials are sneaking past defenses. This isn't just about a new missile, it's about the future of European security hanging in the balance. The leaked documents uncover a massive, unseen war of technology, one where the world's most powerful nations are unknowingly fueling a threat that could wipe out entire cities overnight. The question remains, will NATO wake up in time to counter this new danger? Or will these missiles become the silent killers lurking just beyond the horizon? The clock is ticking. What happens next could determine the fate of millions. Recent investigations reveal a shocking loophole in Western sanctions. Despite efforts to cut off Russia's military supplies, key companies involved in missile production remain untouched. Out of 49 firms linked to building the ISKANDR-1000, 13 are completely unregulated. Among them, the Morozov plant in Russia manufactures the crucial solid propellant charges for all Iskander missiles. The makers of accelerometers for the missile's inertial navigation system have also eluded restrictions. Companies like PSB Technologies and Pantets, responsible for vital circuit boards installed in these weapons, continue operations freely. This unanswered question hangs heavily: how can Russia produce these advanced missiles so effortlessly? The answer is clear: many of these manufacturers are either not targeted by sanctions or aren't complying. The devastating consequence? The newly upgraded ISKANDR-1000, with its potential to target much of Europe, is only possible because of these failures to block critical components. It's a startling revelation: the West's sanctions are ineffective. They're failing to halt the flow of essential parts from unregulated suppliers. The implications are terrifying. If Putin deploys these missiles in Kaliningrad, entire regions, cities like Oslo, Hamburg, Warsaw, would be within reach. And this isn't speculation. The production of these missiles clearly continues, unabated by recent restrictions. Ukraine's President, Zelensky, warned about this long ago. Back in August, after yet another massive Russian attack involving hundreds of drones and missiles, he demanded tougher sanctions. The message was loud and clear: without comprehensive measures against Russia's financial and energy sectors, their military machine will keep growing. Zelensky emphasized that only robust economic pressure can create an opening for meaningful diplomacy. Now, as the leaked documents confirm the ongoing production of the ISKANDR-1000, an advanced, hypersonic missile capable of speeds up to Mach 9, the danger grows more immediate. Russia's goal? Use these weapons to threaten European capitals and NATO's eastern flank. But how? With the keys to production in the hands of unregulated companies, the full power of these missiles could soon be unleashed. One startling fact remains. The existing sanctions are not enough. They're being bypassed by companies that aren't even on the radar. As Putin's arsenal expands, the question remains: how much longer can the West ignore this critical failure? The clock is ticking, and Europe's safety depends on urgent, comprehensive action. A hidden threat looms over Europe. Shady shipping routes are quietly ferrying cargo that could include Western components. These shipments bypass sanctions, allowing Russia to acquire the parts needed for its weapons programs. Intermediaries and middlemen make the flow unstoppable. How long can the West turn a blind eye before it's too late? The risk of a confrontation with Russia is creeping closer with each passing day. Imagine Russian ships gliding through calm waters, soundless, almost ghost-like, carrying forbidden materials. Without proper checks, these vessels act like wolves in sheep's clothing. Russia buys components from foreign suppliers at inflated prices, exploiting loopholes and gray markets. It's like a painful sting in the back, an invisible threat growing stronger. What happens when this unseen pipeline fuels the deadly ISKANDR-1000 missiles? A nightmare unfolds as mass production accelerates. United 24's investigation reveals a disturbing truth: more than a quarter of firms involved in manufacturing these crucial parts remain outside sanctions. Every effort to block Russia appears to be thwarted. The missile project is accelerating, and Putin's plan to implement it in Kaliningrad seems inevitable. The technologically advanced ISKANDR-1000, capable of striking across Europe, is no longer just theory, it's an imminent danger. How can NATO respond when the enemy's supply chain is so resilient? Polished yet deadly, the upgraded ISKANDR-1000 extends its reach beyond previous models. Rumors suggest it might travel up to 1,300 kilometers, double the range of its predecessor. Small improvements in fuel capacity and engines boost speed and accuracy, making it a hypersonic missile. It can hit speeds of Mach 9, piercing defenses with precision and destructive power. With a warhead capable of devastating a city, the stakes have never been higher. What's to stop these missiles from unleashing chaos across Europe? Leaked documents confirm that Russia is entering mass production of these weapons. Hidden within detailed financial records are proofs of orders for advanced guidance systems and missile components. Many parts are sourced from Western countries, an open invitation for sanctions to fail. This revelation raises a heartbreaking question: didn't the West's sanctions aim to barricade Russia's military ambitions? Yet, here, the parts flow freely, enabling Putin to multiply his threat. What if this new missile system is deployed in Kaliningrad? That small enclave, a tiny piece of land, could become a deadly fortress. Military experts warn it's more than a precarious outpost. It could morph into a launchpad for an attack that threatens all of Europe. NATO's key cities, like Oslo and Hamburg, are within striking distance. The list of potential targets stretches across the Baltics, Poland, Germany, and beyond. Could we be witnessing the beginning of a new era of conflict? The danger isn't limited to Kaliningrad. Russia might use these missiles as leverage in diplomatic talks, or worse, funnel them to allies like Belarus, North Korea, or Iran. Belarus's leader already claims that Russian missiles now stand at his borders. Could the ISKANDR-1000 soon follow? If so, the struggle for European security will intensify, transforming a regional threat into a global crisis. Behind the scenes, Western nations face a bitter reality. Sanctions were supposed to be a shield, yet, Russian military insiders continue to outmaneuver them. Components slip through cracks, and shipments move under the radar. This ongoing loophole undermines efforts to curb Russia's military expansion. The more Putin's forces grow stronger, the more pressing the threat becomes. Will the West find a way to cut off this dangerous pipeline before it's too late? How long before the unthinkable happens? As the world risks sleepwalking into a conflict with an enemy arming itself with unseen yet devastating technology, one question remains: how do we stop a threat that seems unstoppable? The clock is ticking, and Europe's future hangs in the balance. Russia could already claim a dominant edge, the United States Naval Institute highlights. It notes that Moscow might forge a land bridge linking Belarus to Kaliningrad through the Suwalki Gap. Imagine the crunch of boots on frost-hardened earth, the distant rumble of artillery, as this move isolates the Baltic states from NATO's lifeline. With enhanced ISKANDR-1000 missiles relentlessly bombarding any troops surging to plug the gap, the strategy seems poised for triumph. But does this truly unshackle Russia for conquest? Delve deeper into our exploration of why certain analysts foresee humanity teetering on the abyss of global conflict. And if this tale grips you, stay tuned for more revelations on Russia's bold maneuvers. Russia's hold on that territory sparks fears that the Baltic nations could crumble swiftly. This collapse might shatter NATO's frontline defense against a Russian onslaught. Picture the metallic tang of tension in the air, the cold sweat trickling down strategists' brows as alliances fray. NATO's defense hinges on swift neutralization of the Kaliningrad exclave. Commander of United States forces in Europe, General Christopher Donahue, unveiled a covert ploy in July. Military Watch revealed the general asserted that obliterating Kaliningrad fits into NATO's Eastern European blueprint. What shocking truth lurks behind this declaration? Could NATO's own arrogance blind them to a devastating counterblow? CLOUD-driven coordination and unified arsenals would supposedly empower the strike. Yet, can this orchestration withstand the ISKANDR-1000's fury? Donahue offered no specifics, merely confirming the plan's existence. Frustration simmers like a kettle about to boil over. Vladimir Putin's language grows sharper around Kaliningrad. His words hint at ominous intentions for this isolated outpost. In November, Moscow decried NATO drills as precursors to encircling Kaliningrad. The scent of impending siege fills the air. By December, Putin unleashed a stark warning in his yearly address. Queried on Kaliningrad's vulnerability, Russia's leader declared, "I hope that doesn't happen. If threats of this kind are created against us, we will destroy these threats, and everyone must understand this and be aware that actions of this kind will simply lead to an escalation of the conflict unseen until now." Is this mere bravado? Or a cunning ploy to divert NATO's gaze? What if it's a ruse to clear the path for deploying fresh ISKANDR-1000s into the exclave? Twist, reveal now. Intelligence suggests Putin might sacrifice Kaliningrad as bait, luring NATO into a trap that exposes their defenses for retaliation. NATO must maneuver through this tangled web urgently. Russia's upgraded rocket empowers a shadow over Europe. Pessimists whisper that the ISKANDR-1000 heralds the brink of World War III. The dread lingers. What darker secrets does Kaliningrad conceal to alter the balance of power forever? The pulse of drums echoes, signaling unseen horrors ahead. Picture this, a missile so lethal, so unstoppable, that it could erase entire cities from the map in a heartbeat. What if Russia is about to unleash the ISKANDR-1000 on Kaliningrad, turning this tiny exclave into a fortress of doom? Startling new intelligence reveals Vladimir Putin's sinister scheme. A web of debates has long swirled around Kaliningrad, Russia's isolated outpost nestled between Poland and the Baltic states. Is it a ticking time bomb? Or just an easy target for NATO to snatch away? Putin aims to silence the doubters. Leaked Ukrainian documents expose Moscow's feverish construction of upgraded Iskander missiles. Each one screams danger, with a range stretching over 1,000 kilometers, enough to strike Oslo or Hamburg before dawn. These aren't mere threats, they're ready for war. The whine of engines echoes as components from Western factories fuel Russia's arsenal. Feel the cold grip of betrayal. Sanctions crumble like brittle ice underfoot. Vladimir Putin strategically deploys these missiles into Kaliningrad, transforming the region into a dagger aimed at Europe's heart. Picture the salty spray of the Baltic Sea as warships tremble. The exclave becomes a citadel, capable of raining hypersonic fury on NATO's flanks. Momentum builds. Whispers of World War III grow louder, fueled by the ISKANDR-1000's shadow over Poland, Germany, and beyond. The air grows thick with urgency. Can NATO destroy this threat before it's too late? Sundering alliances, the new missiles scream past defenses at Mach 9. NATO scrambles, hearts pounding from Putin's dire warning. Any blockade means untold escalation. Echoes of explosions reverberate in the mind. The stress prickles the skin like 1,000 needles. Yet Putin twists the narrative, diverting attention while arming Kaliningrad. The exclave's vulnerability morphs into menace. Feel the shift, a seismic tremor beneath Europe's soil. Compounding the horror, Western components sustain Russia's war machine, even in the ISKANDR-1000. Sanctions falter against loopholes. Imagine Zelensky's frustration as 549 drones and missiles thunder through Ukraine's skies in October alone. The clamor deafens, the acrid smoke chokes. Now, these innovations threaten the entire continent. Shocking twist, Russia plans to farm these hypersonic terrors not just in Kaliningrad, but to allies like Belarus, North Korea, and Iran. Global dominoes topple. Lukashenko crows about the Orshnik already in place. Soon, the Iskander follows. The scent of gunpowder lingers, warning of a worldwide plague. NATO's commander vows swift action on Kaliningrad, coordinated clouds enshrouding defenses. But against the Iskander swarm. Imagine a scenario where one missile could change everything, and it might have already. A weapon so advanced that it can reach hundreds of miles, targeting major cities across Europe. NATO commanders are trembling, knowing because Russia's new ballistic missile, the Iskander-1000, is nearly impossible to distinguish from older models during surveillance. This creates chaos, delays, and confusion at critical moments when every second counts. Russian open sources warn that NATO will be overwhelmed. The alliance will have to respond to every missile launch across the entire operational area, wasting resources, risking mistargeting, or missing the real threat altogether. As the strike unfolds, Russia can use this confusion as a cover. Launch an initial missile, then observe NATO's response. The response signals where defenses are strongest, where aircraft are positioned. With that intelligence, Russia can unleash its upgraded Iskander-1000, targeting those to turn the Baltic region into a fortress of fire, capable of devastating much of deception. Now, the focus shifts to the crucial issue, Kaliningrad. Military sources first revealed early signs of this missile's development back in May 2024, on Russia's military anniversary. Hydrans piercing the night, the tactile horror of destruction spreading across borders. But here's where it gets even more shocking. The leaked documents reveal that these missiles are not just built with Russian components. Many vital parts come from Western nations, parts that should have been cut off by sanctions. How is this possible? Could the West's seemingly strict embargoes be so porous that they allow the spread of weapons capable of mass destruction? This revelation raises a haunting question: are sanctions effective at all against such smuggling networks? The strategy behind the new missiles is chilling. NATO's response? An unpredictable, resource-draining game of whack-a-mole. Launch an original Iskander. Observe where NATO's defenses activate. Then, launch the upgraded ISKANDR-1000 to bypass or strike those defenses directly. It's like fighting shadows. By the time NATO figures out what's happening, the missile has already hit its target. The entire region stands on the brink of chaos. And the target map expands by the day. If Kaliningrad hosts these missiles, the entire Baltic region is vulnerable. Poland, with its dense population, could face immediate annihilation. Germany's northern cities, the Scandinavian capitals, and even inland countries like Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Moldova, and Romania could all fall under threat. The list is shockingly long, the scope of destruction is staggering. NATO's dilemma? With the new ISKANDR-1000 in play, traditional defenses might prove useless. Many of NATO's key cities are within reach, whether the missiles are stationed inside Kaliningrad or elsewhere. The potential for widespread devastation is no longer hypothetical, it's embedded in the very fabric of the military threat Russia now possesses. And it's not just about battlefield tactics. The leaked information suggests a deeper, more disturbing reality. It is designed to blend seamlessly with older missiles. The very components used to build these missiles are often manufactured by Western companies. Despite efforts to isolate Russia through sanctions, critical parts continue to flow. How many other weapons of mass destruction are slipping through the cracks? Could Western industry unintentionally be fueling Russia's rampage? The stakes have never been higher. Each missile launch could send shockwaves across Europe, destroying cities and rewriting history forever. The question is, how will NATO respond when faced with an enemy whose very weaponry challenges the core principles of deterrence? Are we prepared for the chaos that could erupt at any moment? Or will this silent threat create a new normal of uncertainty and fear? And threaten these capitals simultaneously, trapping NATO in a terrifying dilemma: fight with limited intel or risk losing everything. Every day, the threat grows closer. The plane of war looms larger, while NATO struggles to adapt. Can anyone truly defend against an invisible, hypersonic missile that's nearly impossible to track? Or will the next strike come from the shadows, striking fear into the hearts of millions? The truth is terrifying: the battlefield has just changed forever. For years, the debate about Kaliningrad's role in future conflicts has raged fiercely. Some see it as a ticking time bomb, nestled between Poland and the Baltic states. Others believe NATO could seize it within moments, making it seemingly irrelevant in a war. But now, Vladimir Putin is sending a chilling message by injecting something shocking into the region. Deep intelligence from Ukraine has uncovered a sinister plan. Russia is rapidly developing a new missile fleet in Kaliningrad, and it could change everything. Imagine the air thick with tension, the distant hum of machinery, as these weapon systems take shape behind closed doors. An ominous future awaits. If a war ignites, this region could become a major weapon against Europe itself. On December 18, startling leaked documents emerged from the shadows. They reveal that Moscow is mass-producing an upgraded missile, called the ISKANDR-1000. This isn't just a theory, it's a terrifying reality. These missiles, capable of flying 1,000 kilometers or more, could threaten cities like Oslo and Hamburg from hidden positions in Kaliningrad. It's a game-changer, a weapon that could cripple NATO's early defenses, changing the course of history overnight. Specifically, the secrets show the modernized version of the missile, known inside Russia as 9M7232, has left experimental stages. It's now rolling off production lines in large numbers. Ukrainian intelligence has uncovered proof, images of leaked documents that expose Russia's plans in chilling detail. Two key records reveal massive purchases of crucial components, all dedicated solely to building these advanced missiles. The evidence is clear: the 9M7232 is no longer a distant hope, it's a manufacturing reality. But what makes this even more terrifying? The production isn't fully within Russia's borders. Many vital parts come from Western companies, bypassing sanctions, slipping through the cracks. How is this possible when sanctions are supposed to block such supply lines? The answer is troubling. Western parts find their way into Russian weapons, fueling a dangerous arms race despite international restrictions. As these missiles are assembled in secret, fears escalate. The upgraded ISKANDR-1000 promises increased range, speed, and accuracy. Russia believes it's ready to deploy an unstoppable force with the potential to strike deep into Europe. The fear is palpable. This isn't just a missile, it's a weapon capable of unleashing devastation on an unprecedented scale. Will NATO recognize the threat in time? Or will the quiet hum of machinery in Kaliningrad escalate into a nightmare of destruction? The suspense grows stronger with each revelation. The world stands on a knife's edge, watching as a new era of warfare dawns, powered by secrets, lies, and impending danger. In our last segment, we uncovered how Putin's regime is blitzing ahead with the ISKANDR-1000 missiles in Kaliningrad, poised to threaten Europe's heart, while sourcing parts from Western foes despite sanctions. Now, picture the sting of betrayal as allies unwittingly fuel Russia's arsenal. The air thickens with unease, each leak reveals a sharper edge to the conflict. Can you imagine the betrayal brewing in boardrooms? Western tech slips into Putin's deadly hands, shattering dreams of isolation. What shock awaits as Ukraine's Zelensky demands America toughen up? Grab your seat, this twist-proof sanctions are crumbling, handing Russia an unexpected advantage. Ukraine's leader, Zelensky, delivers a stern ultimatum. More pressure on Putin looms, fueled by relentless war woes. Diplomatic pleas echo, escalate sanctions to force Russia's diplomatic shift. Clenching fists, Zelensky targets the US for bolder action around December 21st. The Hindu captures the fury, Zelensky insists America must ramp up efforts now. Existing bans falter on every front. Scope stays shallow, enforcement riddles with gaps. Western firms peddle crucial components straight to Moscow's doorstep, nullifying the blockade. It's a cold slap in the face. Ukraine's stance hardens. These loopholes empower Russia's missile frenzy. Europe can't ignore the crisis either. Oleksandr Yurchenko, Ukraine's Economic Security Council's investigative chief, lays it bare. He urges the EU to broaden strikes on sanction busters. Currently, it's sluggish, merely 5 to 7 firms targeted per round amid thousands circling like sharks. This sluggish pace lets ISKANDR-1000 production hum along unchecked. Yurchenko's words seethe with frustration. The EU's December 22 extension of economic penalties? A meager 6-month lifeline. Not enough to choke Russia's war machine. Execution crumbles further. The Guardian's December 21 expose paints a grim picture. Russia's shadow fleet balloons, defying rules with brazen cargo runs. These ghostly vessels dodge scrutiny, hauling prohibited goods. Military interventions to halt them? They spark Kremlin confrontations. Do nothing, and the flow endures. Odors of diesel and salt sting the air as ships vanish into mists. Western components infiltrate via proxies, not even from origin nations. Russia dances through gray markets, amassing parts at inflated costs. The bitter irony bites deep. Sanctions, once a sword of justice, now dull against Putin's cunning. Each shipment whispers humiliation. NATO trembles at the mockery. Will Europe awaken before it's too late? Or does this backdoor betrayal seal a darker fate? For years, a fierce debate has raged over the strategic importance of the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. Some warn it's a ticking time bomb, nestled between Poland and the Baltic states, posing an ever-present threat. Others argue NATO could seize it in moments, rendering it irrelevant in any future conflict. But now, a shocking revelation could change everything. Deep intelligence from Ukraine has uncovered a sinister Russian plan, one that could turn Kaliningrad into Europe's deadliest missile hub. What if this tiny region becomes the launchpad for a weapon capable of striking nearly half of Europe? The stakes have never been higher. On December 18, leaked documents from Ukrainian sources revealed Moscow's secret rush to produce an advanced new missile, the ISKANDR-1000. With a deadly range of 1,000 kilometers, around 621 miles, these missiles could sit in Kaliningrad, ready to unleash chaos on major European cities like Oslo and Hamburg. The mere possibility of such weapons threatens NATO's entire containment strategy during a crisis. What's more sinister is that the modernized version, known internally as the 9M7232, has already left the experimental stage. It's now officially in serial production. And the proof? Indisputable leaked documents, photographs of financial transactions, and key parts being purchased exclusively for missile assembly. This isn't speculation, it's a reality. The documents detail how Russia is securing vast quantities of components from its Western suppliers, parts that could hardly be obtained if sanctions were effective. The implications are chilling. Sanctions intended to restrict Russia's military ambitions may be, at best, superficial. Could Western countries be unwittingly fueling Russia's missile arsenal, giving Putin exactly what he needs to dominate Europe? But why the urgency? The upgraded ISKANDR-1000 isn't just a longer-range missile, it's a hypersonic monster capable of speeds reaching Mach 9, nearly 3 times the speed of sound. Designed with precision guidance systems, it can hit targets within 5 meters. With warheads potentially weighing over 700 kilograms, more than a small car, its destructive potential is terrifying. Information from earlier projections suggests that the missile's speed alone could make interception almost impossible. NATO's defenses would have mere seconds to react. Launch one, and your city could be struck before the sirens even start wailing. The clock is ticking. Military analysts warn that the ISKANDR-1000's true threat lies in its stealth. Unlike previous models, which were easier to detect, this new missile blends seamlessly into the radar landscape. If NATO forces can't identify it early, defenses won't be enough. A surprise strike could devastate entire regions. The region of Kaliningrad looms large in this nightmare. Some sources confirm Russia's plans to station these deadly weapons right there, perfectly positioned to target Poland, the Baltic states, and even Central Europe. The danger escalates. With each missile, Russia tightens its grip on Europe's vulnerable borders. And the targets? The scope is horrifying. Cities like Copenhagen, Warsaw, and even the capitals of the Baltic nations could fall within its lethal reach. The entire eastern flank of NATO might find itself under attack from a single, concealed base, if these missiles are indeed stationed in Kaliningrad. Adding fuel to the fire is the revelation that Russia is heavily dependent on Western-made components, parts that slip through sanctions unnoticed. This loophole could enable Moscow to rapidly build and deploy weapons intended to threaten peace and stability. The question is, are the sanctions effective, or are they just paper shields? As the world watches in horror, one thing becomes clear: Kaliningrad may no longer be a peripheral concern. It could transform into the frontline of a modern missile arms race, where speed, stealth, and devastating firepower decide the fate of millions. With the specter of a new, unstoppable missile looming, Europe stands on the edge of a dangerous new reality. Will NATO be able to respond in time, or will the shadow of Kaliningrad cast a long, deadly night over the continent? Imagine a scenario where one missile could change everything, and it might have already. A weapon so advanced that it can reach hundreds of miles, targeting major cities across Europe. NATO commanders are trembling, knowing they because Russia's new ballistic missile, the ISKANDR-1000, is nearly impossible to distinguish from older models during surveillance. This creates chaos, delays, and confusion at critical moments when every second counts. Russian open sources warn that NATO will be overwhelmed. The alliance will have to respond to every missile launch across the entire operational area, wasting resources, risking mistargeting, or missing the real threat altogether. As the strike unfolds, Russia can use this confusion as a cover. Launch an initial missile, then observe NATO's response. The response signals where defenses are strongest, where aircraft are positioned. With that intelligence, Russia can unleash its upgraded ISKANDR-1000, targeting those to turn the Baltic region into a fortress of fire, capable of devastating much of deception. Now, the focus shifts to the crucial issue, Kaliningrad. Military sources first revealed early signs of this missile's development back in May 2024, on Russia's military anniversary. Little was known then, but insiders speculated that Vladimir Putin aimed to station these powerful weapons deep within Kaliningrad's borders. Recent leaked documents seem to confirm this destination. If true, it could spell disaster for NATO's eastern flank. The entire region becomes the front line, and major European cities are now at risk. Imagine the don't-resist drone of engines overhead, swift. Could the West's seemingly strict embargoes be so porous that they allow the spread of weapons capable of mass destruction? This revelation raises a haunting question: are sanctions effective at all against such smuggling networks? The strategy behind the new missiles is chilling. NATO's response? An unpredictable, resource-draining game of whack-a-mole. Launch an original Iskander. Observe where NATO's defenses activate. Then, launch the upgraded ISKANDR-1000 to bypass or strike those defenses directly. It's like fighting shadows. By the time NATO figures out what's happening, the missile has already hit its target. The entire region stands on the brink of chaos. And the target map expands by the day. If Kaliningrad hosts these missiles, the entire Baltic region is vulnerable. Poland, with its dense population, could face immediate annihilation. Germany's northern cities, the Scandinavian capitals, and even inland countries like Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Moldova, and Romania could all fall under threat. The list is shockingly long, the scope of destruction is staggering. NATO's dilemma? With the new ISKANDR-1000 in play, traditional defenses might prove useless. Many of NATO's key cities are within reach, whether the missiles are stationed inside Kaliningrad or elsewhere. The potential for widespread devastation is no longer hypothetical, it's embedded in the very fabric of the military threat Russia now possesses. And it's not NATO's biggest challenge? Detection. Unlike previous models, the ISKANDR-1000 is designed to blend seamlessly with older missiles. The very components used to build these missiles are often manufactured by Western companies. Despite efforts to isolate Russia through sanctions, critical parts continue to flow. The prolonged response time gives Russia a strategic advantage, the element of surprise. And the location? The strongest suspicion is Kaliningrad, a small but strategically vital enclave. Some reports indicate Putin wants to deploy as many as possible there, turning this tiny region into a missile fortress. If the leaked documents are correct, the entire Baltic region becomes a battleground. Major cities within range include Warsaw, Vilnius, Riga, and beyond. Russia can threaten these capitals simultaneously, trapping NATO in a terrifying dilemma: fight with limited intel or risk losing everything. Every day, the threat grows closer. The plane of war looms larger, while NATO struggles to adapt. Can anyone truly defend against an invisible, hypersonic missile that's nearly impossible to track? Or will the next strike come from the shadows, striking fear into the hearts of millions? The truth is terrifying: the battlefield has just changed forever. The ongoing struggle over the fragile borders of Kaliningrad has reached a fever pitch. The region, nestled between Poland and the Baltic states, is not just a geographical anomaly, it's a potential flashpoint that could ignite a larger conflict. Experts argue that this exclave is inherently dangerous, a mere pawn in a complex geopolitical chess game. But now, new evidence reveals that Moscow has a sinister plan, transforming Kaliningrad into a fortress armed with advanced missiles capable of striking Europe at will. What is Vladimir Putin really orchestrating behind closed doors? Could Kaliningrad become the battlefield that determines the fate of the continent? Shocking leaks expose a clandestine buildup of missile forces that could change everything overnight. The revelation begins with a massive leak of Russian documents uncovered by Ukrainian intelligence. It unveils an alarming acceleration in missile production, specifically, the development of a new type of ballistic missile designed to reach targets over 600 miles away. Imagine the roar of engines, the smell of burning fuel thick in the air, as these deadly instruments of war are assembled in secret. These missiles, named ISKANDR-1000, possess a range that rivals the distance from Paris to Berlin. They are equipped with a precision guidance system capable of hitting targets within 5 meters, enough to obliterate entire neighborhoods with high-explosive warheads. How did Moscow move from experimental prototypes to mass production? The leaked documents reveal detailed financial records confirming that components are being bought in huge quantities from Western countries, bypassing sanctions and fueling fears of a new arms race. This is no longer the realm of speculation, it's reality. Russia is confident that these upgraded missiles are ready to deploy. The previous versions, already threatening NATO, now have a lethal successor that could double their range. Military analysts suggest the ISKANDR-1000 could travel up to 1,300 kilometers, more than 800 miles. The speed? An astonishing Mach 9, fast enough to leave defenses in the dust. NATO forces are scrambling, every launch could be undetectable until it's too late. What's even more terrifying? These missiles are so similar to their predecessors that tracking them in real time is nearly impossible. The element of surprise becomes a deadly advantage for Moscow. Imagine a missile silently launching from Kaliningrad, a blur in the sky, while defenses remain oblivious. What could be the consequences for Europe? The strategic implications are chilling. Many believe Moscow plans to station these missiles within Kaliningrad, making it a fortress of destruction. Rumors suggest the region could become the primary launching pad for an assault across much of Europe, targeting major cities like Oslo, Hamburg, and Copenhagen. The missile's reach extends to the Baltic states and deep into Central Europe, putting countries like Poland, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, and Romania squarely in the crosshairs. All this sets the stage for a nightmare scenario, Kaliningrad becoming the epicenter of a new European conflict, shifting the landscape of power overnight. The question remains, are Western defenses prepared for the silent storm looming on the horizon? Or will they be caught off guard, unable to stop a storm of precision missiles? But behind this terrifying buildup lies a deeper crisis. Western sanctions are failing. Leaked documents show that components for these new missiles are still flooding into Russia from Western suppliers. Despite promises to block such transfers, the reality is different. Intermediaries and shadowy companies are facilitating these transactions with ease. The smell of fresh supplies of advanced guidance systems, engines, and warhead components make it clear, sanctions are no longer effective. The European Union's slow pace and narrow scope allow many illicit channels to remain open. With thousands of companies operating in the shadows, the actual cutoff is far from complete. This failure presents a horrifying paradox. Western efforts to cripple Russia's military power are being undermined at every turn. How many more secrets are hidden behind layers of deception and intermediaries? And could this loophole lead directly to catastrophe? The disturbing truth is that Moscow's ambitions are only growing bolder. Their strategic move now appears to be a stealthy expansion rather than an open confrontation, yet the stakes couldn't be higher. Each day, new evidence emerges of how close Europe is to a new era of missile warfare, an era where silence and speed may determine victory or disaster. As the world watches, the critical question remains, will the West wake up before Kaliningrad's shadowy missiles unleash chaos across a sleeping continent? The countdown has begun, and the world holds its breath.